The contestants on the famous reality TV show My 600 Pound Life Stories made some life-altering decisions with Dr. Now, that is to try and get healthier. But unfortunately, some of them weren't too successful and their plans ended in tragedy. Allow me to walk you through some My 600 Pound Life Stories that didn't end well. Number 10. Robert Bichelle. Like other contestants on the show, Robert Bichelle came up with a lot of problems. He weighed around 850 pounds and was also addicted to painkillers like Dillo did. You won't believe it, but Bichelle gained considerable control of his compulsive eating habits very quickly. In fact, he was quicker than most other contestants on the show. He even lost a whopping 350 pounds. Dr. Now was very happy with the quick improvements he showed, and the future looked good for him. But things went wrong after the surgery he had to remove a lymphedema mass. The surgery was obviously very painful and left Bichelle craving painkillers again. He spiraled into depression and even tore his stitches, hoping to get more of them. His self-harm tendencies grew at an alarming rate, and people around him, including his fiancée, were very worried. Sadly, Bichelle passed away in November of 2017. Dr. Now was obviously very upset and hailed Bichelle as a hero and fighter who tried his best until the very end. Number 9. Khaleesi McMillan. Khaleesi McMillan was a mother of 4 that appeared on My 600 Pound Life to get the help she needed. She was part of Season 8 of the show and was all ready to take control over her life. She also promised Dr. Now that she would quit smoking and follow her diet strictly. But things took a turn for the worse very soon, and she was admitted to the ICU in spring of 2020. Apparently, there was a rupture in her gastric sleeve, and she had to be put in a medically induced coma to save her life. Sadly, doctors couldn't save her, and she passed away in September 2020. Number 8. Justin and Stephen Asante. The Asante brothers are perhaps the most controversial members to ever be featured on My 600 Pound Life. Even though they were brothers, both of them absolutely hated each other. Stephen in particular had a tendency to abuse his brother and create a lot of drama. Even though he pretended to follow Dr. Now's instructions on the show, he was actually cheating everyone and eating unhealthy junk food when no one was watching. He would also bully his family, including his own father, and throw a fit whenever he wanted something. On top of this, he would steal and abuse painkillers constantly, especially after his gastric bypass. Justin had to quit the program because of his brother's abusive behavior, even though he was making a lot of progress. Stephen left the program shortly after Justin and now lives in Iowa with his wife. Number 7. Gina Crazley. Gina Crazley was another participant with a tragic backstory. She had an abusive father which led her to overeat and derive comfort from food. When she approached Dr. Now, she was actually weighing over 600 pounds. And even though Dr. Now helped her, she regained most of the weight she had lost after surgery. This made Dr. Now give her an ultimatum. She would either have to lose 75 pounds in 3 months or the program would no longer accommodate her. Crazley reacted badly to this ultimatum, and her episode had a very sad and tense ending. After this, she even filed a lawsuit against the show's production company. Shocking, isn't it? Number 6. Lisa Fleming. After her daughter discovered literal maggots living on her skin, Lisa Fleming decided that she had to lose weight and change her life around. She weighed over 700 pounds in the beginning and needed a team of paramedics to carry her out of the house. Shocking, isn't it? Fleming did lose some weight under Dr. Now's supervision, but regained all of it as soon as she was left on her own. She was also very manipulative, which frustrated Dr. Now to no end. He gave her various ultimatums and then eventually dismissed her from his program. Fleming clearly didn't care and went back to her home where she passed away shortly afterwards. Sadly, she was only 50 years old when she passed away. Number 5. Henry Foots. One of the most heartbreaking stories in My 600-Pound Life was Henry Foots. He was a hopeful man who wanted to lose weight before he showed up for his high school reunion so he could surprise his old friends. After putting in a lot of hard work, Foots was able to go from 750 pounds to 275 pounds. Isn't that a huge change? But tragedy struck in 2013 when Foots passed away after suffering from a medical episode while driving a bus. Nobody knows why he really died, but his story is truly one of the saddest on the show. Number 4. Kelly Mason. Kelly Mason's story is another tragic one. Mason was always very hopeful and tried to do whatever she could to lose weight. Dr. Now really appreciated her for her passion and tried to help her in whatever way he could. But Mason's body was hosting a variety of health problems. She had type 2 diabetes, thyroid issues, and severe heart problems. As you can probably assume, all of this put her in a very difficult place. After her time at the hospital and her weight loss surgery, Mason was able to lose approximately 300 pounds. She was committed to losing more, but her health gave away in February 2019, and she passed away in her sleep. Even after hearing the tragic news, Dr. Now was proud of her for fighting till the end. Number 3. Sean Milliken. Sean Milliken's story is one of the most tragic ones on the show. Unlike some participants, he was actually putting in a lot of effort to lose weight, and the results were pretty positive too. He initially weighed almost 900 pounds and was even unable to move. Yes, you heard that right. But after following Dr. Now's advice and getting weight loss surgery, Milliken was able to drop hundreds of pounds in weight. Even in his follow-up episode, it was clear that he was working hard after the surgery to continue losing weight. But 2018 was a tragic year for Milliken. Since his mother passed away from renal failure, he was absolutely devastated since she was his biggest supporter. He also faced some financial issues and had to move out of his Houston apartment. Milliken got very sick because of an infection in 2019 and passed away in the hospital in February. The doctors tried their best to resuscitate him, but his weak heart couldn't cope with all the pressure. Sadly, he was only 29 years old. Number 2. Penny Sager. Coming on My 600-Pound Life and being vulnerable about your struggles in front of millions of people isn't an easy task. Some people are easily demotivated and are unwilling to share their struggles with the world. Penny Sager is one of these people. She appeared on the show in Season 2 and then had a follow-up episode 1 year later. At first, there was a ray of hope since she was able to lose 40 pounds in a controlled diet. Dr. Now was clearly very happy with her progress, so he approved her for weight loss surgery. But after getting a gastric bypass surgery, she started gaining weight instead of losing it. This meant that she was cheating on her diet and eating things she was not supposed to be eating. When she was confronted, Sager became defensive and quit the program, moving back to Maryland. If you're wondering where she went after that, nobody really knows. This is also because she hasn't been active on social media. People have assumed this is because she fell back into unhealthy patterns again. This is yet another tragic end to a promising weight loss story. Number 1. Angela Johns. Angela Johns was probably one of the toughest patients Dr. Now had to assist on the show. Her story was aired on Season 7 of the show, and fans were hooked immediately to her story. Johns always had a very difficult attitude towards her overall health and was very dismissive of whatever Dr. Now had to say. She also had a very tragic backstory. When she was younger, Johns had experienced both physical and emotional abuse. She had also served prison time. Since she had gone through so much, Johns had resorted to compulsive eating as a coping mechanism, which led to rapid weight gain. When Johns approached Dr. Now, she weighed almost 643 pounds. She seemed a little hopeful at the start, but soon her attitude started to deteriorate and she became dismissive and aggressive. She started claiming that the program was punishing her. You won't believe it, but just after losing 48 pounds, Johns quit the program and started abusing drugs again. She was also called out by Dr. Now for hiding her opiate addiction and smoking habits from the medical staff and her own family. Unfortunately, Johns refused to continue the program or go to rehab, and her weight loss journey was quite short. So what do you think? Do you think these My 600 Pound Life stories are tragic too? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the channel.